Good evening, everyone. Gordon Causey, as always. And as always, Candy the Wonder Pup. I know you want to hear the jokes, but if I don't deal with Candy, I get no peace. Come on up here. Say hi. Candy the Wonder Pup, half Border Collie, half Aussie Shepherd, which is pretty much basically the same darn breed anyway. Shake a paw. Lay down. Speak. 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 All right, close enough. It's like she doesn't want to speak anymore. She's always chuffing. I've got 3 jokes for this Saturday, the 9th of March. 3 ones that came to mind recently. The first one has to do with 2 Canadians who find themselves, they die and they go to hell. So there are 2 Canadians, they're down in hell. Satan sends down one of his devils to see how they're doing. And of course, sweltering hot, there's moaning and gnashing of teeth, everyone in misery. And he gets to where the Canadians are, and these 2 Canadians are bundled up. They've got sweaters and parkas on, and the devil says, well, aren't you guys hot? Canadians say, well, like, we're from Canada, eh? And like, I'm from Northern Ontario, like, up by Timmins there, and gets pretty darn cold. Takes a lot to warm a Canadian up. But he says, yeah, like, maybe in a little while we'll get warmer, but not right now. So the devil leaves, goes and talks to Satan. They crank up the heat. Now the moaning is even louder. Misery is throughout Hades, and the devil comes back down to check on the 2 Canadians, and they've taken off their parkas and their sweaters, but they say, the devil, they go, thanks for turning up the heat, things are getting nicer, eh? Because where we're from, we only get a few nice days a year. Sure nice to have some warm weather. It just reminds me of that time my wife won the bingo when we went down to Cancun, Mexico. So Satan, or the devil, leaves and goes and talks to Lucifer, and comes back the next day, and now they've turned up the heat as high as it can go. It is boiling in heaven, and the devil comes down to find these 2 Canadians. They've got weenies, they're roasting, and they're stripped down to their shorts, and they're like, oh, thanks a lot. Like, this is beautiful, eh? This is even better than Cancun when my wife won the bingo, I tell you. Thanks a lot there, devil. Tell your boss Lucifer there, we're loving it here. And so the devil goes up to, sees his master Lucifer, and he says, these Canadians, doesn't matter how hot we make it, they seem to like it. So Lucifer says, all right, we'll teach those Canadians. Turn off the heat. They hate the cold, we'll give them cold. Okay. So the furnaces are shut off. The next day, the devil comes down to check on the 2 Canadians. Hell is just one big icy mass, and the moaning is unreal. Chattering of teeth now. Everyone's freezing. And the devil walks up, and there are these 2 Canadians. They're back in their sweater, their toques, their parkas, but they're jumping up and down, high-fiving each other. Whoa! Ha-ha! And the devil goes, wait a minute. Why are you 2 guys so darn happy? It's freezing here. And they go, we know. And the Maple Leafs just won the Stanley Cup. Sorry, Leaf fans. The Leafs last won the Stanley Cup in 1967 when I was 1 year old, and I was in diapers. And I think I'm probably going to be back in diapers by the time the Leafs win another Stanley Cup. Anyway, second joke. Little Susie, 4 years old, 4.5, 5 years old, and it's summertime. And she's driving her mother nuts. Her mother's trying to get some housework done and things. The little Susie's asking questions, running around, getting in her mom's way. And her mom says, look, Susie, across the street, they're building some houses. Why don't you just sit in the front lawn there and or at the curb? You can watch the men building the houses and just give me some peace. So Susie goes outside. Her mom checks on her. She's sitting at the curb watching the men build. There's a few houses going up across the street. And one of the workers sees Susie sitting there and he says, pardon me, little girl, at the back of my pickup truck, the blue pickup truck there's a small little bag of nails. Could you grab that for me? Susie, sure enough, she gets up, she checks both ways, goes, gets the nails, gives them to the worker. Well, before you know it, the other workers, the other guys, the other tradesmen, start giving her little jobs to do. Nothing big, just little cleanup jobs, little sweep up jobs. And she's there all week. And then Friday comes along and the foreman comes out and he starts handing out everyone their pay envelope. Well, darn it, if he doesn't call little Susie over and he hands her an envelope. All the guys, all the tradesmen had chipped in a few bucks, and she had like $53 in her little pay envelope. So she comes running home, and her mom, seeing the $53, is thrilled, and she says, you know what? You don't have a bank account yet, Susie. You and I, we're going to go to the bank. We're going to set you up. We're going to get you a bank account. You can put that money in the bank. So they go to the bank. They're with the teller. She's got all her documentation. They fill out all the forms. And when everything's set up and the account is established, the teller turns to Susie, looks down and says, now, Susie, do you have any money to put in the bank? And Susie hands the envelope, and the teller takes it out and says, wow, $53. How did you earn $53? And Susie says, well, there are these men building houses across from where I live, from my house, and I've been helping them do work all week, and I get nails, and I clean up bits of wood, and I do some sweeping, and then there's a man called Foreman, and on Friday, he gave everyone an envelope, and this is my envelope for working all week. And the teller says, well, that's fantastic. Will you be working next week, Susie? Susie goes, well, I don't know. That depends if they deliver the fucking drywall on time or not. That's the second joke. And third joke is a bar in Toronto, a little British pub. Call it the Loin and the Unicorn. Doesn't matter. And it's a Friday afternoon. It's busy. People are coming in. They're having their pints. They're catching up, sharing stories. Two guys sitting beside each other on the bar, and they start engaging in conversation. And one says to the other, he says, you know, I detect a bit of an Irish accent. Would you happen to be from Ireland, sir? The guy says, I am from Ireland. He goes, you're from Ireland? Me too. We're both from Ireland. Two Irishmen. 2 more pints. Make them Guinness. So he brings over a couple pints, and they're drinking away. And then, now, tell me, what part of Ireland are you from? One says to the other. The second one says, oh, I'm from Dublin. The other one, you're from Dublin. I'm from Dublin. We're both from Dublin. 2 Irishmen in the same pub in Toronto. 2 more Guinness. So he brings over more Guinness, and they drink their Guinness. And then they're chatting away, and one says to the other, you know, we look to be about the same age. What year were you born? Well, I was born in 1961. You were born in, I was born in 1961, the two of us, Faith and Begora. Give us a Hennessy. So they start drinking some whiskey, and they're having a great time. They're, what? 1961, when's your birthday? Oh, I'm April the 14th. You're April the 14th, 1961. I'm April the 14th. Oh my, both from Ireland, both from Dublin, both born 1961, both on April the 14th. 2 more Hennessy, and they're sitting there and they're cheersing away and they're drinking. And then another patron walks into the bar and he asks the barkeep, he says, hey, Tommy, anything good happening? And what's new? Barkeep says, nothing new. Fucking O'Malley twins are getting drunk again. And those are my jokes. That's your Saturday night. St. Patrick's Day is coming. I think it's March 17th, isn't it? If you go back far enough on my family tree, I'm an O'Malley. Although when my family came over, it was on my mom's side, and going back 3, maybe 4 generations, the name was changed from O'Malley to Maley. They dropped the O and an L. So instead of O'Malley, it was Maley, because back then there were signs up in Toronto that said Irish need not apply. The more things change, the more they stay the same. That's it for tonight. I am going live again tomorrow, Sunday night, 10:30 or so p.m. in and around that area. I'm going to be talking about something of a faith-based, and it's the question, why does God need our praise? Omniscient, omnipotent, all-knowing, all-seeing, all-wise, all this, all everything. Why does God need our praise? And I'll get into it more tomorrow night. And if that's a question that's ever occurred to you, if you've ever thought of that as being a bit ridiculous, I referenced in my video yesterday that old episode, or an old vignette, an old scene from Monty Python's Life of Brian. Oh God, you are so big. We're all really impressed down here, we must say. So if this is something that has occurred to you, and you're near a device and have nothing better to do on a Sunday evening, hey, join in. I would love to get some chat going. Thank you for so far. I've already got 6 thumbs up. Much appreciated. Had 3 people watching. No one wanted to join on the chat. It's really nothing to chat about. I've gone up in and around 710 subscribers now. So thank you very much to everyone who has subscribed, because as that goes up, apparently, from what I understand, that increases my channel's exposure. And when I do want to talk about things, when I do want to share my so-called fringe minority views and unacceptable views, then it helps get my voice out into the public discourse a little more broadly. So thank you very much. I've gone on way too long for a joke video, but it'll be under 15. God bless, and if you're available tomorrow and want to join in, I would appreciate it. We'll talk to you later. God bless.